to another episode of Stuck in My Mind podcast. I am your host, WIZE, and I'm very excited for my next guest. I was actually a guest on his podcast, and I'm excited for him to return the favor. He's an entrepreneur, like I said, a fellow podcaster. Let me silence my phone. Hold on a second, everybody. My apologies, everyone. Silence that, and here we go. Welcome to the show, Stefan Asseg.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Pleasure's all mine, brother. Pleasure's all mine. I'm glad to have you on the show. Like I said, I was on your show earlier this year. Now you're returning the favor. How's everything going?
Doing good, doing good. Yep. When did we talk? Do you recall?
February.
Okay.
Was it February or March? I think it was February or March when we last spoke.
Well, cool. So yeah, I got some new stories since then, and I'm interested to hear your new stories. So
awesome. All right, so let's just start. Can you share your journey from software engineer to entrepreneurship and what inspired this transition?
Yeah, definitely. So my dad was an entrepreneur, and he never worked for anybody but for himself his entire life. But somehow the company that he built didn't really inspire me. So I went to university, and then when you go to university, you don't usually learn how to become your own business, but you learn how to work for somebody else, right? And that's what I did for 18 years. I studied software engineering and worked as software engineer, IT consultant, worked for Amazon last, and then I really it's not like I never thought about starting my own business. I did think about that, but I didn't know, it's not like you just run a Facebook ad to market your software company, right? So I never kind of figured that out. And, I did work for startups, but I never started my own. So, and also the startups I worked for, they failed. So that wasn't really encouraging me either. So, in the end, I just was an employee, and things were good. I was in that comfort zone, right? You're good, until you're not, right? So then that day came when my entire team from Amazon got laid off in a day. Like, out of 35 people, 30 got laid off, including the managers, which was interesting. So I was like, well, what do I do now? Now there's so many, last year, so many people, got laid off and came back to the market. I was like, well, that's not the best time to look for a new job. I mean, everybody who was looking for jobs in my team, they found jobs. But I was like, I'm going to do my own thing now. So I had multiple ideas. I went from watch trading, which I picked up and still do today, just not full time, to business coaching. And then recently, and that happened since you and I talked in earlier this year, I purchased a marketing company, and that really interests me. And also when we coach clients for business coaching, marketing is always a big part of that, right? And a podcast is also a marketing tool in one way or another. So now we do a lot of stuff with marketing and AI, and that really excites me. So that's my journey, and that's why I'm here, and that's why I have my own podcast too.
So why do you believe mindset is crucial for entrepreneurial success? And how do you help business owners cultivate the right mindset?
Yeah, so for me, mindset, I grew up in a family with business, but also with the mindset of, the success that's for other people, right? It's not you, And then also my mom always taught me, money doesn't make you happy. You don't need money to be happy. And that there's some truth to that, but there's also a truth to how money can just change things, make things easier, and open doors, right? So it's not about the money, but it's about the freedom that comes with it. So I always kind of had a different view on that, and I always thought, if somebody else, why not me, right? And I feel like that's where a lot of people may be stuck, just in this, stuck in my mind, right? Literally, this is for others, not for me, right? Others got lucky, others had rich parents, others had this and that, and I don't, and that's why it's not me, right? And I think it's nonsense, right? Once you break that barrier, you can achieve anything, right? And people have proven it, but I feel like that's the main thing holding people back, that that mindset, oh, not me because, right? And then followed by a list of excuses and justifications why it's not me. But in the end, the reason why it's not you, there's only one reason, and that is you, right? It's very simple. Once you figure that out, you can do anything you want.
Yeah, it's correct. Like, a lot of people come with this victim mindset, like, oh, woe's me, oh, woe's me, I'm the victim. And as long as they continue to play that role, they're never going to succeed, because all they're going to see is, I'm a victim. I'm as it always happens to me. I never get the breaks. It's always happening for someone else. They're the lucky ones. No, you have to get out of that mindset where you need to go make it happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what are some of the common challenges that entrepreneurs face in today's competitive landscape, and how do you address them in your coaching?
So, I mean, we start with mindset, and then I like that progression, from everybody has dreams, but dreams are not goals yet, and you haven't done anything yet, right? So dreams are good. Maybe you dream of a certain freedom. Maybe you dream of, traveling, doing this and that for your friends, whatever you dream of, right? But you haven't really made it a goal yet. So that's the next step. You make it a goal. For me, that starts with writing it down. And, I'm a technology person, so I don't use paper, right? But if somebody does that on paper and that works for them, that's totally fine too, right? So write your goals down and then be aware of them. And then, don't write them down once and then never look at them, right? But look at your goals frequently and update them, right? And then the next step from a goal, you can still have goals and then not take any action. And then guess what? You're not going to achieve that goal, right? Big surprise there. Not really. So the next thing is then action, right? So you go from dream to goal, and then what are the actions I need to take to achieve that goal? And I feel like that's really powerful, just to be aware of that, right? And I have dreams myself, and I let them be dreams. They're not goals yet because I have other goals. Obviously, you can't do everything, so you have to prioritize your goals, and then be honest with yourself. How many goals can I achieve, right? Because I am very, very prone to making that mistake myself of trying to do everything at the same time. And then guess what? Nothing's done properly, right? So pick your goals, prioritize your goals, and then define your actions that you need to take. And then be brutally honest, right? Are you actually taking the action to achieve that goal? If you're not taking the actions, are you serious about that goal? Is it a goal? Is it maybe just a dream and you were hoping that you would make it a goal? So I feel like that brutal honesty with oneself is really important. And that's where we start with. So we have a template to do this in a digital form. But again, if somebody wants to do this on paper, it's a little hard with people you don't sit side by side with, right, during their coaching call. But even on paper, it works somehow. So that's where we start, and then then you take it from there. And then we have a couple of questions I'm happy to share. I have some I call them annoying questions, because they are annoying. You're being asked those questions, but they really help you be honest with yourself. So
okay, what are the questions? Let's go with them. What are the questions?
I called for it, didn't I? So my favorite question is, what are the 3 things that you should be doing, but you didn't do since your last coaching session, right? Because there are those things where it's not like, oh, I'm not doing it, but I had no idea. No, that's not how it works, right? Usually it's like, yep, I know I should be doing this, but I'm not doing it. So I'm not, as a coach, we don't want to tell people what to do, right? I'm asking the coachee, what are the things? Just be honest, right? The things that you should be doing, but you're not doing them. What are those things? And then, that I feel like allows them to be brutally honest with themselves during the coaching session. But then also they learn that, and then they can do that without me, because my goal is so that they don't need me anymore and I can move on to help other people, right? So that's my favorite annoying question. And my business partner, James, he asks me that question in the coaching sessions that I have with him. And it's always annoying because, when you have to admit to yourself, yes, I set out to do this. I made this an action to achieve my goal, and I'm not doing it. It's really annoying, but it's also really helpful. And I always thank him for that, whenever he asks that question. So
awesome. So you mentioned you purchased a marketing company, and you mentioned AI.
Mm-hmm.
How do you leverage technology to drive business growth and innovation?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I've been using AI since OpenAI and ChatGPT came out, I think in 2022, right? So it's but what we do now is a lot of automating outreach, right? So there's always marketing, and marketing is senior to sales. That's the saying, right? So if you don't market, then who are you selling to, right? But then there's a lot of clients, and we do the marketing for them, right? So we generate the leads, but then there's nobody to follow up with the leads, right? So the leads are there, they're like, yes, I need what you have to sell, and then nobody calls them or even texts them back, right? So that's what we do using AI right now. So we automate AI, and not that those bots that where it's super obvious and it's just it knows like 3 different things to ask you, but actually AI that we train to answer in a way the business owner would answer, right? And of course, it's not a human, right? So it still makes mistakes, but we train it, and the more we train it, the better experience for the end customer, right? And the more confidence in the business they do business with, they gain. So that's something we do. And one thing that I have on my agenda for the next couple of weeks is figuring out how to do the same thing with AI phone calls to make phone calls to leads to make them feel confident, and get the questions answered, their questions answered, and also get the business owners' questions answered. So that's our main thing for now. But I also do some fun things personally with AI if you're interested.
Okay. Can you discuss the intersection between personal development and entrepreneurial success?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I sometimes make comparisons between, having a relationship, personal relationship, be it with a friend or romantic relationship, and running a business, right? Which many times is not a very romantic comparison, but I think there's a lot of things, right? In a business, if you don't know where you're going, well, you're probably not going to go anywhere, right? And the same thing in a relationship, right? If there's 2 people and they don't really know what are we doing here, what's the goal here, then where is it going to go, right? So I feel like this goal setting applies to personal relationships too, right? So that's one thing, and that's and then that brutal honesty also, right? I know it's in romantic relationships, it's maybe a bit different, but I feel like still, I always like that brutal honesty with myself, right? I feel like some people, they're stuck in situations, relationships that they shouldn't be stuck in, and maybe same in businesses, right? If there's a point in a business and there's a point in a relationship where you should just stop, right? It's not good for you. It's not going to go anywhere. Just be honest with yourself and just get out, right? So that those things I feel like are maybe not the most romantic comparison, right? But I feel like those things are pretty similar in personal development and also growing the business.
So one thing you were discussing already was goal setting. What roles does goal setting play in achieving business milestones, and how do you guide entrepreneurs in setting and achieving their goals? Like, I know we discussed that you write them down and everything, but how do you help them actually implement them? Because some people can write it down, but unless you take action, nothing happens.
Yeah, right. For me, it starts with, and that's, I come from software engineering, right? So in software, usually your users want more from your software than you can possibly do, right? And it's the same with us in business, right? There's so many ideas, you have so many things you could be doing, so many opportunities, so many, customers, you could have partners, you could form partnerships with all of that. But if you don't prioritize, and that's, again, I know that's a problem for myself, right? Because I want to do all the things that interest me, and those are much more than I can actually do. So for me, it's really about two main things that I try to implement, and that one is prioritize, right, and then stick to those priorities, right, because there's always those low-hanging fruits, right, where it's like, oh, I can do this quickly, and then 3 days later you're still not done, right? That's an engineer problem, I feel like, and people in business can also get stuck in that, right? So don't do the easiest thing, do the most important thing, even if it's the hardest thing, right? And then the other thing is limit what you work on at the same time, right? Get things done before you start with the next thing, right? It's always easy, and again, I'm very, very guilty of that, and I have to apply those things to myself more than other people, right? I feel like there's people out there, they are more organized, maybe, or more focused, whereas I'm more like, I just want to, all the shiny object syndrome kind of, right? Everything that's shiny, I want to work with it and try it out, and so, but that's, if you keep doing that, you just get nothing done. So those are my two main rules. So prioritize and limit how much you work on at the same time. And if you follow that, then and that also is a mindset thing, right? Because if you start 20 things and none of them done, suddenly you lose confidence in yourself, right? But you set yourself up to failure, right? If you do 20 things at the same time, chances to completing all of them are pretty low, right? But if you start working on two things or even one, then your chances, you set yourself up for success. And then now you come out of that one thing as a winner, right? And now you're proud of yourself. And now you're going to master the second and the third thing. And then eventually you're going to have your 20 things done before you could have them done if you started all of them at the same time. So.
Okay. Awesome. How do you balance the demands of entrepreneurship with your personal interests? Because you like to mountain bike, and you have a watch collection. So how do you balance the time?
Yeah, so for me, I'm a calendar person. So even my hobbies and all of that, meeting friends, all of those things are in my calendar, and they block my calendar, right? So for example, later today, I'm meeting my friend Kim. She's on my calendar, so because I have 7 different email addresses and calendars, right, that people can book appointments with. So but all of those are kind of linked together. So if I block time on one calendar, all other 6 calendars are blocked too.
Yeah.
So or later today I have to drop off my drift car at the shop that's going to work on it. That is an event in my calendar, and that time is blocked. So I prioritize that. Same thing as a client meeting or this podcast, right? I don't have client meetings that interfere with this. So that's how I just treat, and again, I just prioritize, right? I what's most important, and obviously there's things that have deadlines attached to them, and then there are things that are important, and then there are things that are just not that important or not important yet, right? So that kind of works,
Can you share a memorable success story from your coaching experience?
So that's maybe a weird one, but so our coaching is obviously not so much for employees, even though there is entrepreneurs and people who really succeed within their company. But I'd say one of my recent coaches, I coached them, and in the end they figured out that running their own business, so they're kind of like me, they came out of an employment, full-time employment, and then they tried to start their own business. Okay. But it really wasn't for them, and I feel like that's a good thing, and I'm proud of them for admitting that, because not running your own business is not for everybody, right? Suddenly you don't just have to show up on time and collect a paycheck, but now you're sales, you're VP of sales, you're the VP of marketing, you're the CEO, everything, right? You have to do all of those things, and if that's not for you, then I'd rather have you admit that. And that person now, he's now an employee again, and he's happy, right? So I feel like even though that's not the outcome, and I think that's really important as a coach.
That is the outcome that needed to come out, because he learned that he wasn't, because not everyone is an entrepreneur. Not everyone is built to be entrepreneurs. Some people are built to be employees. So to have him realize that he was much more comfortable as an employee, then that's important.
Yeah, exactly. And I see that my video is frozen.
Your screen is frozen, but hey, that's fine. I can still hear you. So,
right. And I think that's really important for a coach, right? So we shouldn't try to achieve the outcome that we want for the person, but we should guide the person to achieve the outcome that's best for them, right? And in this case, I feel like that's a success story, because I could have forced them, be like, no, continue with the business, just let's do this, right? But in the end, it's it's the outcome that works for them. So
that's the important part is to help them. As much as you would love for them to be entrepreneurs, some people are not built that way.
Yep, exactly. So I'm gonna rejoin and hope my camera works. So please entertain everybody for
yeah. Go ahead, we're fine. Listen, technical difficulties happen. All right. So while he's away, how's everyone doing today? Thank you for joining us again on Stuck in My Mind podcast. We are live on. Let's see. There he goes. All right, that wasn't that long.
Sure.
Yeah. Perfect. There we go.
And that's why live is awesome, right? Because this is, we could pre-record this, we could now edit this and polish it up, but
when you live, it happens. Listen, it's okay. Technical difficulties happen to everyone. Listen, it's part of what we do. If you think that something cannot go wrong, it will find a way to go wrong. It will find a way.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Well, cool. I know I'm the guest here, but I also like to ask questions.
Ask.
It's always an interesting back and forth. So you said that you have a couple of plans a couple of months ago, right? You were going to start something. So what changed for you since then? I'm really interested.
Oh, for me, we've so when we first started out, me and my nephew, we launched a radio station, an internet radio station, and we ran it for 2 years, and it kind of it was just a passion project for us, because we wanted to do it. And so last year we shut it down, and I'm proud to announce that in June we will be relaunching it, and so I'm excited for that. That's it's something that it's going to be talk radio from 6 a.m. to about 10 p.m. It'll be nothing but talk radio. It'll be podcasts, talk shows, all a whole bunch of different types of shows, and then from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. it'll be DJs and music and so it's been it's just something that we had a great time doing, and we feel that that's something we want to continue to do. So when we were able to get the software that we pay the licensing fee just one time, and we don't have to worry about it. So now we're going to be streaming our radio station once again, launching June 1st. So I'm excited.
Awesome. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. You're more than welcome to add your show to the roster if you want.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
Send me some info on that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking for shows. I'm looking for, like I said, I'm feeling from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. I want it to be strictly talk radio, where there are going to be shows and everything. So, and you have a great show, so I would love to definitely have the audio and share it with another audience. It's another audience to share it with.
Yeah, definitely. Let's do it. Well, cool.
All right.
Have we talked about mistakes yet? Because that's always one of my favorite topics.
Mistakes. We can talk about mistakes. That's all. Listen, well, they're not mistakes. They're learning lessons.
Sure.
So let's talk about them. Let's talk about. You want to talk? Let's talk about it.
Definitely. I'll go first, I guess, because I asked. So I think one big mistake we made with Flat Out Business, right, my coaching company, we made the mistake of, we thought that I mean, first of all, we got stuck in analysis paralysis for a while, right? So we're like, well, we looked at all the other coaches' offers and what are they offering, and then it's everything and nothing basically, right? And
Yeah.
and then we changed our offers a bunch of times, which that's not a mistake. But then one thing we thought is that, okay, finally now we have all the offers figured out. And it took us way too long, right? But we have all the offers figured out, and we were like, well, let's put them on the website. And then I feel like we were secretly hoping for somebody to just go on our website. And back then you could just purchase the coaching package right on the website. And of course, nobody did that, right? So then we realized, oh, we have to create content. We have to, attend network events and all that. So I feel like that mistake, when I think back, it was kind of cute, right? We were like, okay, let's just put it on the website, and orders are just going to come in, and so that was kind of our main mistake. So for anybody starting a business, I feel like
I got a question. I got a question.
Sure.
Why would you think that orders would just come in?
I mean, we didn't like explicitly think that, but we were acting
like it would.
We were acting as if orders were just going to come in like that. I'm going to rejoin.
Yeah, listen, mistakes happen. You learn from them. You learn from them and you run with them. Like there's things that when I first started podcasting, I needed a lot of work on, and so I made mistakes with thumbnail designs and descriptions and a whole bunch of different things. So I've been able to learn from those. Like I said, they're lessons. They're not mistakes anymore. Like when you look at them and you just continue to say that they're mistakes, no, they're lessons. They're lessons to be learned. Now, if you continue to make the same mistakes over and over again, then that's where it sucks, when you continuously make the same mistake over and over and over again.
Yep. What do you mean, like trusting your camera to work?
Well, that's not a mistake. That's just technical. It's just
right. Yeah.
Stuff that's unexpected. Like I mean, where you continuously make the same mistake. That's more like insanity, because you continuously make the same mistake, hoping that you're going to get a different result than the last 20 times you made the same mistake.
Right.
Is it a mistake if you keep doing it over and over again?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, that camera is going in the trash if it keeps doing that. But for now,
what camera is that?
Oh, it's that's some anti-advertisement, but it's a Lumina camera, so it's AI powered. It's one of those where it follows you, kind of.
Oh, okay. Oh,
so that's kind of cool, but
yeah, it is. That is real cool.
It has stability issues, but maybe it's also the Chrome browser or StreamYard. We don't know. Anyway.
It could be. It could. Yeah, you can't blame it on the camera. It might not. It might be the software.
We don't know. So back to mistakes in business. So anyway, that was a mistake I feel like we made. And again, we didn't explicitly think that orders were just going to come in, but we acted as if we thought that, right? So now we're more aware that that's not how it works. So my recommendation for anybody starting a new business now, don't just figure out what you want to offer and then just wait, right? But figure out what are people's problems, how do you solve them, and how do I talk to those people and present my product in a way that people actually, and then figure out what's your price point, right? In our case, for our coaching program, it's not a couple $100s, right? It's a couple $1,000. So you can't expect somebody to just put that in a cart on your website and then purchase it, right? If you sell a $10 product, sure, but so kind of also think about yourself. Would you buy something like this? And if I think back, yeah, I wouldn't, right? So there's some sales process required. So
Yeah, no, I've been roped into a couple of sales calls where they're like, oh yeah, the program, and it's sometimes I had a call about a month or so ago, and they let off with the most expensive package. Um, I'm I work a 9 to 5, and I do my production company on the side. So I was like, yeah, for someone like me, maybe yeah, you shouldn't start off with the high end package, because a lot of us can't afford it. And then they had another package which was right up my alley, where I could afford to actually invest in it. And I'm like, yeah, I could afford to come out of pocket X amount of dollars compared to where it was thousands and thousands. Yes, I don't get the same material I would have gotten from the dot, but at least it's something. It's me taking that initiative and getting a package that I can afford. And so sometimes people, they only have one package, and that's that package. And I get it. I understand. I'm not here to tell anybody how to set their programs but not everyone has thousands of dollars to invest. And especially when people are just starting out, they don't have the thousands of dollars to invest in coaching programs and all these different things that is beneficial to them. But some people just don't have that kind of money.
Yeah, right. And it's we've been going back and forth too, from one offer to, I think actually we started with, I don't know, more than 6 offers. Now we're actually down to 1 offer, and we're pushing that offer. But now I also split them, as I purchased the marketing company, so the marketing offers, they transition into that company. So that's kind of different circumstances. But designing your offers, I feel like that was really a hard process for us, and it still is, because it gets really complex. And if you're on a call with somebody who just doesn't even know if they need what you have to offer, and now you have 6 different things to offer, maybe it's better if you have one. So that's the approach we're taking right now. But we'll evolve it from there. That's another thing that I embrace. Don't ever consider anything final, right? Again, coming out of software engineering, right?
Yeah.
Software never done. I just had a client before ask me, so when is this going to be done? And I was like, well, never, right? Same as any other software is also never done. And same with your business, right? Your business model, your business plan, it's good to have a business plan written down, but it's really a snapshot of what on that day, right?
Yeah.
It may be different tomorrow, and there's no reason to not change, right? So I like the saying, the only constant in life is change, and then embrace that. And again, going back to what I said before, right? Make sure to prioritize, make sure to not do everything at the same time. And then, there's what can go wrong, right? A lot, but still, you're on the
What
right.
can go wrong will go
For sure.
All right. And how do you stay updated on industry trends and emerging technologies to provide cutting edge advice to your clients?
Yes, so for me, I like to, and I'm now in the I'm grateful for being in the position where everything I sell to my clients is also something I use myself, right? Because it's I always think of that Ferrari salesman, right? They don't have a Ferrari, but they have to sell one, right? So now you're asking them, well, how does it drive? Maybe they don't know, right? So if you ask me, how does the AI technology work, or how does this marketing tool work? I know, because I'm using it myself, right? So and there's people there. They're much better salespeople than I am, right? Because I need some confidence, that engineer mindset, right? I can't sell something that I don't know works, right? So that's why I have a business partner in that business, and he is the perfect salesperson. He can sell anything, and then we'll figure it out later, which I'm kind of, that's I have another business partner who wants to have everything figured out first, and then we start selling it. And then I have this other business partner who wants to sell first and then figure it out. And I'm somewhere in the middle. I need some confidence in the product, but I also realize that we don't need to know everything exactly, right? Precisely down to the
No, you work. You sometimes you can work it out as you go.
exactly. But that's something I feel like, I'm really grateful to be able to sell what we use ourselves. So I already know it works because I'm using it myself. And then now I'm just really having fun, right? Making it work for our clients, and I already have the confidence. So that's super exciting.
Awesome. And I see that you're streaming live to your audience. So hi to everybody in your groups. I actually did the same thing when we recorded our show. I streamed live onto my networks. So thank you once again for sharing that part of it. All right. What advice would you give aspiring entrepreneurs who are just starting their journey?
I would say the main thing is don't be afraid, right?
Everyone starts off afraid,
right?
Especially when they coming from the employee mindset to an entrepreneurial mindset, because they're stuck on that 40-hour work week and getting that constant paycheck. So there's always going to be that fear of, man, if I don't get this business going, I'm going to be broke. I'm going to be homeless. So there's always going to be that fear.
Yeah, and it's depending on. I mean, if you're coming out of employment, I speak from experience there, right? For me, in the back of my mind, it's always like, if my business, or now multiple businesses, don't succeed, it's not like I'm straight going to homeless, right? Then for me, the first failure would be, well, I'll just go back to being an employee, right? Yes, the big tech market isn't as crazy as it was in 2022, so I'd probably take a pay cut. But anyway, so and that I feel like I feel like people who are afraid, they don't think about the so what, right? I always think about so what, and that's also and I was a pretty angry person maybe like 10 years ago, because I didn't think about the so what, right? Now I'm just like, so what, right? Somebody cuts you off in traffic, and that still annoys me sometimes, I admit, but it's like, okay, so what? Nobody died, nothing happened, so just move on, and don't waste your energy on things that are not worth it, right? So if you start a business and it doesn't work, how much do you have to lose, right? Like, what's your investment? Maybe a couple $1,000, whatever it is, right? Can you afford to lose that money? Because there's other ways to lose money too, right? It's not like you put money in your 401k and that's safe, right? And that's not safe either. You could put money in stocks, that's not safe. So anywhere where you have money and you invest it, it's not safe. So starting a business is just another investment, with the only difference that now you are in control of the success of your investment and not somebody else. So that's why I would always much rather start my own business than having money in a 401k and somebody else plays with my money. Here, I play with my own money, so I can make my own mistakes. I can learn from my mistakes, and then I can do it better the next time. Whereas, somebody else, the money manager with my 401k, which I don't have one, but anyway, they may make the same mistake over and over again, which you already said. That's insanity, but it's not their money. So, don't be afraid. Just do it.
All right. And how do you, and this question I ask everyone, because it means different to everyone else, right? So how do you measure success in your coaching practice, and what milestones do you celebrate with your clients?
So for us, I'd say, obviously, and that's for me as a consultant, and I feel like that's a misunderstood term. Some people think a consultant is going to basically lock you in to always have to always need them, right? So for me as a coach, the same thing. If somebody doesn't need me anymore, I was successful, right? Because then I taught them to be self-sufficient, and then I mean, the next level of success would be if they now start coaching somebody else, right? That
Yeah.
would be even better, because we can't just, I can't just coach somebody their entire life. Then I failed. So that would be my ultimate failure if somebody's my client for the rest of their life. So that's really what I want, right? And also, I like, because also I learned from everybody I coach, right? It's not just a one directional thing. It goes
Yeah.
both ways. The money doesn't flow both ways, but I still learn from people. So, and I want to work with lots of different people, right? And there's, I feel like the impact is much greater if I work with multiple people over time than just the same people all over. And then also, for me, if I don't learn anything new as a coach, I can't really help people, right? Because if I'm stuck, then, well, I'm just going to teach people how to be stuck, and I don't want that, right? What was the second part of your question?
And what milestones do you celebrate with your clients? Like, is there anything that when when you see them hit that milestone, do you celebrate with them? That, like, do you cheer them on, or like?
Yeah, I mean, that really depends on their goals, right? So, for example, let's say somebody has a business and does the same mistake that we did, right? Basically, put your offer out there and then don't actually market for that. Then, we figure out an action plan, and we put actions together, how to market themselves. And then, if somebody hasn't had a client yet and now they have their first client, well, that's the first success milestone, right? Because as soon as you actually start making money, and now you get hope, and now, or actually, let me take that back, now you get confidence in your business, not hope.
Yeah.
Hope is another thing that's more in the dreams, or in the dreams realm, not in the goals and actions realm. So that's an exciting milestone.
Okay. What do you envision for the future of entrepreneurship, and how do you see technology shaping this landscape?
Yeah, especially considering AI and what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that are going to change, right? And I think I said like 20-30 minutes ago that as an entrepreneur, suddenly you have to do everything. And that's, for some people, that's bad news, because maybe they don't want to do everything. But the good news is that, especially with AI, it becomes a lot easier and faster to do all those things, right? So if you have, let's say you have AI driven social media, you have AI driven marketing, AI now edits your podcast and posts all the stuff on social media. All of those things are making it easier for an entrepreneur, but also keep in mind that if it works for you, it also works for everybody else, right? So
Yeah.
that's also an interesting thought, if but I think it's exciting times, especially with AI. What's in a couple of years ago, you needed a salesperson. Today, well, you train your AI salesperson, right? Or whatever it is that that's not your main area of expertise.
Yeah.
Chances are that AI can help you with that. And I think that's super exciting. It opens a lot of new doors. Plus, of course, if you're in that space of making AI part of your offering, well, then there's going to be the people who use AI, and then there's going to be the people who get used by AI, right? So you can choose on which side of the fence you are. And I think there's lots of opportunities to start a business that gets either AI helps you to grow your business, or AI is part of your offering, right? So
Yeah. Oh no. There's a couple of tools that I use for my podcast. I use Cast Magic. Of course, I use Chat GPT. Um, I'm Opus Clip. There's so many different ones that I'm using right now, because it's something that's very important, and that's time, right?
yeah.
And so when you can find tools that helps you cut back on time, helps you save on time, where you're not spending hours, like now I'm not spending hours trying to get the best clips from my show. Now I upload it to Opus Clip. AI chops it up, gets the best clips that they feel, and it's saved me 3 hours.
Yeah.
3 hours that now I don't have to spend doing this. I can just upload the material. And so when you find tools that save you time, which is something that's very precious, time, because that once you spend time, you don't get it back.
Hmm.
So I'm an advocate for any tool that saves me anyone's time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, time is the most valuable currency we have, right? So
Yes, it is. It is.
and I think, it's not like AI is just going to replace jobs. I mean, some jobs maybe, but what I see more is that, if somebody, because, for example, take a podcast and Opus Clip, right? So I now have a team member and they work with those AI tools, but they still have a job, right? So it's not like they got replaced by that. But of course, I hired the
It
person
makes
who
your job easier, though.
exactly. But if I have the choice between hiring one person who has never heard of any AI, podcast related tools, and then one person does, well, guess who I'm going to hire, right? So I feel like it's just
The one with the experience. Yeah, and that's what and instead of going to embrace it and learn, they're like, oh, it's gonna cost people their jobs. No, it's a tool. It's a tool like anything else, and you go and you use it, and I love it. Me personally, there's some of my friends who don't like AI. They don't use it, and that's on them. I use it. Like I said, saves me time, and
yeah.
anything that can save me time for me to be able to go spend time with my family, that's the most important thing for me.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. Exactly. It's a tool. Although I tell, when I teach somebody how to train AI, because, from tools, if you think about your calculator as a tool, your
Yeah,
calculator does not make mistakes, right? Whereas
AI
AI
does. Yeah,
mistakes. So I always tell people, think of it, it's a tool, yes, but when you train AI, think of it as an employee or as an intern you're training, right? They're new to your field, and you have to simply tell them what to do. And then
yeah.
if you do a good job, so the quality of your AI is the quality of your training, right? So that's kind of more similar to an employee than a tool, but it's somewhere, I guess, between a tool and it acts like an employee, but it's still a tool. So
All right, Stefan. This has been great, man. Now is the time of the show where you get the solo screen and you get to plug away, let everybody know where they can find you, where they can find the offers, everything.
appreciate it. Well, so my company is called Flat Out Business. Flat out is a term from rally racing. So we wanna make your business race like a rally car, also go around corners like that. So Flat Out Business. The domain is just flatout.business, and you can find us on all social media. Just Flat Out Business, one word. We have a podcast that's on YouTube, Facebook, X, and also on LinkedIn soon. And you can find us on social. So if you resonate, or if what I said resonates with you, or if you need any help with marketing, AI, any of that, feel free to reach out. Happy to jump on a call and see how we can help you.
All right, man. Thank you once again for collaborating with me. This happened because of StreamYard. StreamYard made this collaboration happen. They have a program on here where you can collaborate with other people that use StreamYard. And so this is a StreamYard collaboration. I appreciate you reaching out to me and having me as a guest on your show. I had a great time on your show. Thank you for returning the favor and being a guest on my show. I appreciate it. It's been a wonderful time talking to you. It's my pleasure to really have you on the show. I'm you're always welcome back. I've had people make multiple appearances on my show. I don't
Sure.
it's not just one and done. You're more than welcome to come back and collaborate with me. And if you got any new programs you want to share, or if you decide you want to write a book, whatever, just hit me up, send me a message. We make it happen, man.
Definitely. Same for you. You're always welcome back.
Appreciate that. I appreciate it. But don't leave just yet. Let me close out the show and we'll chat a little bit off the air. But thank you, Stefan, for being a guest, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Thanks. Bye.
All right, now it is time for shout outs. Shout out to my Real Wise fam, Poppy J, Brandy J. Love you guys. Shout out to the boss lady. Love you and appreciate you. Shout out to everybody who's stopping by on the replays. Thank you for everybody who if you haven't already, subscribe, share. I greatly appreciate it. Shout out to everybody at the BS3 network for who's tuning in on the Roku channel. Greatly appreciate it. And as always, a big shout out to all the essential workers out there. God bless you. Be safe. You know your boy Wise does it. Peace out.